Hi, this is goforitRANDY, and I make Christian videos that every Christian needs to watch. Today, I want to focus in on how Christians are protected from demons if they keep the 10 commandments. Now, for a lot of us, we don't understand. Unless you have the spiritual awareness, you're just not going to get this. The bottom line is, in 1 Corinthians 15:33 through 34, it says, "Do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. Awake to righteousness and do not sin." Bottom line is, Paul taught us not to sin. Many people think that Paul said, oh, you can sin all you want because you're not under the commandments. Well, this is a fallacy. They don't understand what he is talking about. But I want you to understand something, that if you sin, you open a doorway. And that doorway is to Satan and his demons and unclean spirits. So when you open that doorway by sinning, you allow demons to come into your life. I don't know if you want that in your life. I know I certainly don't. So what do you think the Bible really means when it says evil company corrupts good habits? The bottom line is the dark side, okay? Evil spirits, demonic spirits, unclean spirits can come through a doorway into your life and you don't even know it. The bottom line is you could be thinking everything is running smoothly. You're not getting demonically attacked in a way that you would even know. It can be so subtle sometimes that you don't even know it's taking place. And I know this myself because I literally have had this happen to me. I literally went weeks without sinning. I went and kept the 10 commandments for weeks, and then all of a sudden I started watching a little bit of TV. Something that God has shown me, Randy, do not watch TV. He's done it over and over again until I got the message. And then he said, hey, don't watch movies either. He did it, in such a supernatural way that, basically he would freeze my widescreen television so that I can't watch it. It literally just freezes. And the bottom line is the only way I can continue to watch the movie or to watch a TV show is literally to go up and unplug the TV because the remote control just mysteriously doesn't work anymore. But as soon as I unplug the television and then plug it back into the wall again, oh, it's all working perfectly fine. The remote control, which has nothing to do with the TV being unplugged, starts to work perfectly normal again. The bottom line is God has shown me things to do in this world. He's shown me what to do and what not to do. And these are things that I know better than to watch TV. And this is something, God says, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in you. All right? So if you want to be part of this world, you're going to be part of Satan's world because he is the God of this world right now for a little while. And God is going to be coming back to take back his kingdom real soon. But in the meantime, we have to be cognizant of what does God want us to do in our life. And if you sin, you open a doorway to unclean spirits and demonic attacks. And these attacks are so subtle you won't even know it's going on. I did not, let's put it this way. I thought I was doing really well, and for weeks I kept the 10 commandments, and then I slipped and started watching a little bit of TV and a little bit a movie, and all of a sudden my life got turned upside down. All of a sudden these things started happening that were not happening for weeks. One of them was just wanting to disobey God. I just could not believe, why am I doing this? And I'm thinking to myself, Randy, you know better. Why are you trying to do things? And I watched a movie, for example, and in the first 2 or 3 minutes, they blasphemed God's name. And that is just outrageous. And by the way, you can't watch movies because 90% of movies will blaspheme God's name in the movie once, twice, 3 times, 5 times. And if you're watching an R-rated movie, 10 times. Okay? So you can't do that. God does not want you hearing that. And this is what I found out. If you allow that, which I did, I was like upset. It just really makes me upset when I hear that. But normally I will shut the TV off, but it's a movie and you kind of get into a little bit like, hey, I want to see this. And then all of a sudden, half an hour later, they blaspheme God's name again. And then, 15, 20 minutes later, they do it again. And then about the third time I was like, oh man, I've already, listened to 3 of it. Hopefully they just won't do it anymore. And then they do it again. And then it's just like, oh, okay. After the 4th time, I was just like, well, all right, I've already basically, if you know to do good and you do not do it, that is sin to you, the Bible says. So I knew it was sin to me because I know better. I know I should not be watching movies, but I did it anyway. And I was disobeying God at that moment. So the bottom line is, a little later on, all of a sudden, I'm actually working on my computer and I started to get these lustful thoughts about women. Now, this is something that I had not had in weeks. I literally do something to try and, not focus on women. If I'm out in public and I see a woman who's dressed, very highly sexual, I will turn my head the opposite direction and look the other way. If I'm on the computer, I will, scroll away from that so I don't have to see that. I get it out of my view. And if you do that consistently, what I tell myself is, G-rated, movies that are rated G, there is no such thing as, half-naked women running around in tight little bikinis. You don't see that. But in the world, I see it. I saw a woman who was literally wearing a thong bikini right outside my house, about a year ago. And I was absolutely astonished. Why are you doing this? I mean, there is a pool to go down to. Go down to the pool, but don't walk through the neighborhood or stand around talking to a neighbor with basically 95% of your skin exposed to the public. That is uncalled for in the Christian life. But we live in a world where evil is everywhere, where you have people who are demonically possessed to do things like that. So the bottom line is, we have to be cognizant of one thing. Evil company corrupts good habits. If you open a doorway to Satan and allow his demons and his unclean spirits to come into your presence, they are going to mock you. They're going to do things from the other side of the veil. You can't hear them. They're not going to do anything to scare you. They're just going to, maybe whisper in your ear subsonically so you can't even hear it, but your brain is picking it up, and somehow you understand, oh, you know what? For some reason, I feel like sinning right now. And like I said, the other day, I felt like lusting after weeks of not lusting, not even looking remotely at a woman. And that is something that was not normal for me. So I knew, what is causing this? And then I just looked back to the day and I thought, whoa, what happened that day? And I realized, okay, it started with me watching a little TV. Then I went on to watching one movie, a movie that I shouldn't have been watching, and there was actually nudity in the movie, and I turned away for a little bit, but I watched for a little bit, and I shouldn't have done that. A Christian needs to turn those kind of movies off. The bottom line is, turn all movies off, because we are not here to watch movies. We are here to be servants of God and to do the holy, righteous thing. And watching movies is not righteous. Watching TV shows is not righteous, because they blaspheme God's name and they also project a worldly view of things to you in such a way that you want to go out and do worldly things. So I just suggest everyone takes this to heart. You need to understand that you can be affected by demonic influences, by unclean spirits, by the devil himself, who is going to tempt you to want to go and sin. And if you sin, you're breaking one of the 10 commandments. And if you don't believe you're supposed to keep the 10 commandments, I have videos coming to absolutely prove that the people out there that think, oh, we're not under the law. Yeah, you're not under the law. That's right. You're not under Moses' law. All right? And I will go into specific detail on that. But you are under the 10 commandments, because no one out there listening to this right now can show me one verse in the New Testament that says the 10 commandments have been abolished. They are no longer enforced. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. The 10 commandments, all it is a list of things of what not to do so that we can stay away from sin. If anyone thinks you can sin and get away with that and you're going to be saved, you've got another thing coming. God isn't coming for sinners. He's coming for the righteous people. And so I just want to end this by saying, I want everyone to know that you can be doing things right now that you think is harmless, watching TV, listening to secular music, okay, rock and roll, any kind of rap music. All of that stuff is a no-no in God's world, because none of it is healthy for a Christian to listen to. None of it is providing righteousness in your life. What it's doing is showing you a very worldly depiction of this world and putting it into songs that your head is repeating over and over and over, the lyrics to the music and the beats and all of that stuff. The Bible is clear. We're not even supposed to be listening to drums. So this is a demonic way of Satan using music to get to Christians, to get them to sin. Because if you listen to the lyrics, a lot of the lyrics are all about one thing: getting you to sin. So I want everyone to have an awesome day. God bless each and every one of you.